Yo, what's up, everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and as you can see, today has been another great stock market day, at least in my opinion. 2.4%. I know we've been used to like 5%, 10% jumps lately, and also 5% and 10% losses lately. So I know that to a few people out there that aren't really used to the stock market yet, 2.4% might not seem like a lot of growth. But on a normal day before all of this volatility and before the recent crash, 2.4% growth in one day was actually a really good level of growth. And honestly, the most growth that I've gotten out of everything in my portfolio today was surprisingly VOO. And as you can see, it growed 3.34%. So as I always say, I emphasize this a lot. This is basically a general stock market trend. At least in my opinion, it mirrors the S&P 500 index. So this ETF specifically gives you a pretty solid idea on what the general stock market is looking like. But as you can see, it grew like 3.25% today, and that is very significant. And I'm just actually surprised that it ended up growing more than all of my other holdings. And if you don't know already, Microsoft and Apple are both holdings in the VOO ETF. So it's usually surprising to see VOO outplay Microsoft and Apple in terms of growth for a day. So I do have to admit that is some strange activity. Normally, like I said, usually Microsoft and Apple do better than VOO. VOO is usually the one to grow the least out of my portfolio. But like I've been saying recently, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I just feel like this does not make much sense right now. And I even watched a video on Mark Cuban talking about his predictions for the stock market and what he was thinking right now. And it really seems like he has a similar mindset to me. And I noticed that one point he said in the interview was that there's a lot of people that are at home right now and they don't realize how much this is affecting businesses and affecting employees throughout the United States. And people just really haven't let it set in of how much this is going to affect us in the future, and that there's a lot of uncertainty in the short term here. And I honestly have to completely agree with that. It seems like the stock market or the investors are at least a little bit overconfident in our economy right now, given this whole negative situation. But one thing I have been thinking of lately, I've just been thinking of this, and I don't know if it's like an accurate representation or anything like that, but I'm kind of wondering, with all of the instant technology that we have at our hands nowadays and all of this investing information to be available online for anyone that wants to look at it, we often say, especially right now, given that the market has become especially bullish, considering a lot of the negative news events that have been happening around us right now with the Rona situation, it is often said, and even I have said this myself, that it seems that people are being illogical given the current situations. But then if I really sit back and think about it, I'm thinking, okay, are investors actually getting smarter? Because if you really think about it, if you look at my investing strategy, I have four main holdings, which are VOO, Microsoft, Apple, and Tesla. And one thing I say constantly in every single video that I do almost, and before I even go on to this, I just want to say this video is not to be considered financial advice. It is simply me sharing my thoughts and opinions about the market, the moves that I'm making, and etc. So anything that I say is not to be considered financial advice. But back onto the topic, I constantly emphasize my strategy of investing in high quality long-term stocks and just simply buying and holding and not panic selling. So if you think about that, it really makes me wonder, are investors just finally getting around to realizing that panic selling would be illogical, and that just holding long-term and staying the course and dollar cost averaging, that they're finally realizing that's the effective strategy? That's what makes me wonder, honestly. But then again, I see so many people that talk about panic selling and wanting to get out of the market. And I see a lot of people that are not really like certainly dedicated or extremely educated on investing. I've seen a lot of those people talk about how it's not smart to be in the market right now and how everyone should sell. So given that I've seen so many people talking about panic selling and how a good idea would be to panic sell, it almost combats that idea or opinion that investors are becoming smarter and realizing that just buying and holding is the wave. So it does make me wonder, like, is this whole thing just a facade? Because I will admit, for like the past week or so, I just kept questioning as to why the market would keep going up given this current situation. And one of the only few things that I could think of is that people are being illogical and that they're just being way too bullish in a situation where you shouldn't be that bullish. But then when I tried to explore that thought a little bit more, I thought, okay, maybe there's just more people like me out there that are kind of going towards my side of investing, that are just simply buying and holding and not panic selling because they're in it for the long term. Maybe there's just a lot of new investors out there like me with the right mindset. But then when I consider this, I think about all of the people I see on Twitter, on Reddit, on all of these discussion forums, and all of this fear-mongering about how everyone should just sell everything and not invest anymore. And I have to admit, I disagree with that. I think if you already own stocks, if you selected high-quality stocks that you believe in long-term and have proven themselves to be consistent in the past, I personally think that it is important to just hold and stay the course instead of panic selling. But it makes me wonder if that's maybe why we're seeing these markets going up, if maybe more people are starting to have this mindset and become more educated on investing and increasing what you would call your risk tolerance. But then again, like I said, you see all of these people being negative about the market and inciting a lot of fear, and it makes you wonder, how could this be so true when I've seen so much negativity and so many people that are scared for the future with investing? But as time and time again the market proves, this is why you never want to time the market. Yesterday we got a really volatile day where we started out at like 3% and then it ended up going negative by the end of the day, I believe. And then today we started out pretty positive. When the market hour started, it was up like 1.18%, and then at the end of the day it was pretty consistent to where I finally ended with like a 2.29% gain, and overall that's about a $1,400 gain, and I think that's pretty awesome. But I really don't want to like celebrate everything just yet because I feel like this is kind of a hoax, and I could honestly be proven wrong here, but it definitely feels very, very strange. But anyways, just to share my gains for the day, as you can see, I gained 3.30% with VOO, and that is a $940 gain. That is quite significant. That's a lot of money. And then with Microsoft, I gained 0.85%. That's $134. We're still negative on, actually, no, we're not negative on the total return. We're positive for Microsoft. And then with Apple, we gained $260, which is 2.39%. Still a little bit negative on Apple, but I'm happy with my holdings in Apple. And then with Tesla, we gained a little bit today, 0.47%. Not too much, just $20, but we're still down significantly on Tesla. That is one that I'd like to regain some value on, and I think it certainly will in the future. It just takes some time. But anyways, that's just my holdings for today. I wanted to share my thoughts and opinions about the market, the gains that I received, and I'm also curious as to what you all are thinking currently right now as well. Anyways, if you do want to get started with investing or just simply start an account with Robinhood, I'll leave my referral links down in the description in the top of the comment section below to where you can sign up, and we'll both get a free stock, which is pretty cool. As you can see, these are all the free stocks that I've received in the past few days. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.